Welcome to What Lies Ahead. I'm your host, Chris Raffini, lead singer of the Long Island band Overthrow. On my podcast, I explore everything related to the hardcore scene through the eyes of artists, promoters, and record labels. As always, please like or subscribe on all social media platforms. For more information and updates, check out our Instagram page at @WhatLiesAhead_podcast and find us on Facebook by searching What Lies Ahead. Now, on to the show. On this episode, I'm joined by Daniel Valentino, a longtime figure of the Long Island hardcore scene and part owner of AMH, one of the area's premier venues for live shows. He's been involved in the scene for years and is now behind the scenes helping running a space that consistently hosts major shows. Outside of music, Daniel is also part of the restaurant world on Long Island, including VauxHall and Elsie Lane. We'll talk about his history in hardcore, how he got involved with AMH, and how that path led into business and ownership locally. Daniel, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming on.
What's up? Happy to be here, man. It's been a long time.
Yeah. It's fun. Like, haven't had this podcast is over a year now, but you were definitely someone I wanted to have on here. You check a lot of boxes, obviously with with AMH Promo Corp, but like you also owning a couple of the restaurants, some of the other businesses that you're involved in that will get involved in. It's like a really cool story. So having you on here, and I was telling you, I text you this, or like even before we were on here, it's like you post these videos of the food that is being made and the burgers that are being made at VauxHall. It looks so damn good. So I could just talk about this for an hour, like all the food that you have there. But psyched to have you on. But very briefly though, let's start from the beginning a little bit. And we'll keep it with hardcore, I guess. Like, because I think there's a story of like how this built with hardcore, then how you built built into the entrepreneurship of what you're doing now and into that world. But how did you first get into hardcore, and when did you start going to shows, and what was your first show that you remember going to as well?
It's funny you put it like that, because it really there's a pretty straight line that you could follow from going to shows and hardcore into all this. So got into music kind of, I'm 41. So older cousins got me into, Nirvana and all that stuff. And that was a big thing for me. My brother, Chris, who's 2 years younger, is a drummer. And we started going to punk shows when my brother was always the one who was like a little bit ahead of the curve, even though he's younger than me. And he was like, yeah, we're listening to Nirvana and then Korn. And he's like, we're gonna listen to Rancid now. And he was like, it's this punk rock thing. And then we went down that path. And we had a friend whose au pair was dating the singer of this band Bugsy, a Long Island like ska band. And
I remember them.
Yeah. So our first show, it was like the Teen Titans, and after that I was just like, wait, you can like just go to shows. You don't have to, go to a concert. And me and my brother were just so infatuated with it. And then just trying to find meeting people at shows, and it was definitely through punk and ska. And then, going to Deja One for the ska shows. And it was almost like, I think, Christian McKnight had it where it was like 1 week Friday. It was pretty consistent back then. It was like one Friday would be ska, the next would be hardcore. And then ska. We wanted to go to a show, even though it wasn't ska. It's like, let's just go. And that show was the first hardcore show was Cleanser's last show. It was like Arkham, Two Man Advantage. I had already heard VOD from some skateboarder friends. I was already into that. And I was like, oh, this is what was already building into something that I was obsessed with. The family, the violence per se, like just the whole, I'm like, I'm a little scared, but like I like it. And my brother was like, this is sick. And it happened. It was such great memories of just how great we have it on Long Island, where that was such a natural, easy thing to happen. Just like stumbling into.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Like PWAC is obviously the classic. This is the CBGBs of Long Island by far.
Right before my time. I was like right after.
But and I went there and stuff, but Deja One held its own for a little while, and was definitely it was a great place to go see shows. So you're going to shows. Also, you had a band. You were playing a little bit too, right? Just for a little bit.
I was playing in a ska band, like punk ska band, with some of the guys from like Latterman, and because Huntington has a great scene in itself too. Like I grew up in Dix Hills, but Huntington has like, there was a band called Seventh Order, and but then there was like the punk house, the hobo house here, like where Iron
Mhm.
Sheik and all those guys came from. So it was like a little bit of that scene plus the hardcore scene. Um, and yeah, just going to any show. I mean, so the bands, mostly punk and ska, and then I hooked up with a Christian hardcore band, A Love for Enemies, and that was my band that, we were into the Christian stuff, but there was none of that on Long Island. It was another group of friends that also went to shows, but also knew about Strong Arm and Zayo and
Mhm.
California hardcore and Face Down Records, and I got really into that at the same time. Um, and that band played a lot of shows. We played with Subterfuge all the time, and we played with. I don't know if we played with you guys. I'd seen Overthrow the first time at Long Island Zoo, and it was
No.
a very very fond memory of you guys. Still love you guys, but
Thank you.
and just mixing like those two. So like that band we took very seriously, A Love for Enemies, and it was for a while. And we toured the country multiple times. We did Europe once, and that was like the we're gonna do this band.
This is it. Like
We're
we're
gonna
gonna
tour.
tour. We're gonna,
Yeah, like
yep.
we toured with a bunch of cool bands. The last tour we did with A Day to Remember, we're like, this is it. And
That's
then,
amazing.
yeah, and then like kind of
What will do at this point, Daniel?
how old was I?
Yeah, what you say?
Um, this is early 20s. Yeah, because
Okay.
I turned 21 in Germany because we were on tour.
Won't
Yeah.
forget that, right?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like I was drinking the whole time. The drinking age, just whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but that was it's just so many great memories and learning experiences and of how to figure stuff out. When the van's broken and the trailer's not going, the tour falls apart, and you need
Yep.
old
Yep.
merch, and that was a huge part of my life. Um, and then I just kept playing spin-off bands. There was a band called Buck Nasty that was fun, almost sounded like a throwdown, knock loose kind of situation. And then I was in a band
Mhm.
called Shepherds that I still love that band. If we could, I would keep playing in that band. That was a lot of fun, like a Case and
Mhm.
Strain type stuff.
Mhm.
Um, but that was it. I mean, that's a very short summation of like many, like over a decade of taking, playing guitar and being very serious in a band.
Being serious. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So question with that. So thinking back, and you may not have been thinking about it at that time when you were touring and you were doing stuff
Hmm.
because you wanted to do this, right? This is something like this is what I'm gonna do. But
Yeah.
there is a part of being in a band when you get to that level, when you're going to Europe and you are touring, there is a business aspect of the band a little bit. Were
Sure.
you the one really kind of in charge of that? And that was kind of your first taste of dipping your toe almost in these things that kind of led to where you are today? Or you were just more about I'm writing, we're touring, and that's it.
No, no, I think we were all like kind of wore the hats, and then I think I never said this was going to just be my thing, but I like learning by seeing stuff and doing, and just being involved in all that, like the logistics of like the recording and figuring out how to get to the studio and figuring out again the merch designs and routing and talking to agents and managers and stuff like that, like. I just wanted to be involved. I didn't really make it. I was always the youngest one. All the guys were a little bit older. And I
Mhm.
was always just kind of like, I'm here. I'm happy to be here. Let's go. But while it
Mhm.
was happening, I always was involved in anything in every part
Mhm.
of it, business wise too. Yeah. Because
Got it.
it is, you got to be like, is it even feasible to come to do this? You know,
Right.
so
No, absolutely. So
yeah,
at that point, like when the music, it sounds like you always were playing, but there was like that little, that time span of when you were doing it.
yeah.
At one point, did it build into you start looking into this business aspect of what you're doing now? Like, and we were talking, there's some things that, that you knock out of the park. There's some things that, that you might
So
swing and
yeah.
miss on, and that happens. It's never going to be just one thing. So did you, when you were like really done with with the band, were you starting to look at getting into this piece of the business aspect or of it, of restaurants, and like when did those kind of thoughts start coming into your mind?
Funny, I went to school. I went to Stony Brook. I have a bachelor's in psychology, whatever. Nothing was on the restaurants. My dad owned bars in the '80s. I always thought it was cool. We'd always joke about like that, like maybe one day. But the big life changes was in I think it was like 2010 or 2011. I moved out. I moved in to a house in Huntington with the incendiary dudes with Audley and Lamelli, and we had a house in Huntington. And while I was there, I was just working at OTB, and I was in the band. I was a bookie at OTB. Like I was in the band. I graduated. We weren't really touring anymore. And I was like, I need to make more money. how am I going to do that? Like the OTB thing was cool because like I could go on tour with it, but I'm like, I didn't even have to really use it as a resource anymore because I wasn't really touring. So I'm like, I got to pivot, like 27, 28, I'm like, what am I going to do? I tried some sales jobs. I was like really bad at it. I didn't really understand the concept of it. So I started bartending at Leaky Lifeboat in Seaford, which is Eric Finneran and Sal Mignano from The Sleeping.
Hmm.
And I would bartend there, and I always knew of Sal from Sky King Falling, and like Eric, I got introduced to. Um, and when I was bartending there, well, before that, I was actually bartending at AMH, but it was called Broadway.
Broadway at the time.
That was just like,
Isn't that crazy? Full circle, right?
oh, it's the whole thing
It's
full circle.
crazy.
I don't know if
Yeah.
like you get too into it, but like when you put things out into the universe and you say it and then they actually happen, it's kind of weird. Because I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, I wish I owned Broadway, and like now I do, and I'm like, I wish I said something. I mean, I love it. I could have said a lot of shit, but like it made it happen. But that relationship was really good. This is a big part of my story because it was so pivotal. Um, the guy that owned Broadway, he whatever. He messed it up. Okay, and it was available. And I remember I was bartending on a Monday night. I did this awesome '80s night on Mondays at Leaky, and Sal was like, "Hey, Broadway's available," and I'm like, "I'm not doing anything." He's like, "We got this place. Like,
And I apologize. Was this even in your like your mindset at that point of even doing something like that, or
it was
just
just like, what do I know how to do? I'm not touring. What can I do to make a buck and
hmm,
pay my rent?" And I looked up to Sal and Eric for having Leaky. I'm like, you guys just like took a risk and jumped in and signed a lease and just like made it happen. And that's really all it was. And I was like, and then once Sal like, I remember he ran over, he goes, I have an opportunity for you. And he's like, you want to come in and buy a small piece and then you can manage and you get a manager salary, but you'll be an owner. And that's it. That's when it turned the corner. We
what
signed
year was this again?
2013.
2013. Okay.
Yeah, because I was living in Huntington for like about 2 or 3 years, and then this happened. Um, yeah, and I learned. I just jumped in. I was still working OTB, but um, what I realized that you had to just fully like jump in, and we did. And I learned a lot in that first opening about the legality of opening a bar, and we got held up. We were held up 6 months just for the legal aspect of it.
Wow.
We had shows booked. We had like Kevin Seconds that was booked at AMH, and like we did it at Leaky, and we just made it happen. Like, and
Hmm.
I learned about how to run the venue before the venue even opened because we don't have a choice. We
Right.
moved the St. Hood Rep show over there. Like it was pretty crazy. But yeah, Eric showed me how to build stuff. Sal showed me, how to book a show, and we were just doing that, and it was going really good, and still going really good. And
Yeah.
I wanted something in Huntington, and we were 2 years into AMH or a little bit more. And my friend Frank, so all these connections of people that I met from the scene. Frank used to manage Broadway, and he was in a band called November Kills. And then I was friends with him. He was bartending what is now VauxHall, and he said, "Hey man, like we haven't gotten paid in a while, so I feel like they're losing this business. You want to talk to the landlord?" And me, Sal, and Eric like jumped into the restaurant game with like basically nothing, like no knowledge of how to do it. But I mean, they had the vegetarian um place next to Leaky, but beyond that, like no full service restaurant. And I
Wow.
just
Now, were you looking at that point? It just almost like it just almost sounds like it happened
we
in
were
a way,
looking
right? While you were doing
I
Broadway or AMH at the time.
full disclosure, I wanted a second place and I wanted it to be a bar. And I didn't realize how lucky I am that um I had the right people and the right team and the right consultants coming in because it was a huge risk. Like I know now that having a bar with low rent with no food is a whole different monster than having a big rent in the big town with the restaurant, and the food part of it is a whole different thing. But I
Yeah.
like jumped in and just kept learning from people. I learned from manager that I hired. I learned from Chef Mike Meehan, who's like the man. He's like a famous Long Island chef who I didn't even know. He consulted, and he's like knew that I didn't know who he was. And I remember opening night, Newsday came in. I'm like, this is amazing. I can't believe I wasn't even going to open a restaurant, and all of a sudden Newsday's here. He's like, that's fucking terrible. He's like, I don't want them to be here. This is like my side gig. He goes, I'm like, what? He goes, Google my name. I'm like, oh, you're like a famous chef. It's like, yeah, and it was the coolest.
Maybe in a way it was better, right? You didn't
It
know.
was great because I didn't know. It was just
You're
like
right.
it was just Mike. And then he plays music too. So then I was like, hey, I don't really know what I'm doing. So can you stay on and not consult? And he stayed for years. He went from consulting to being my head chef partner for years.
And when was VauxHall? When was this timeline around?
This is 2015. 20
2015.
end of 2015. December.
So, I mean, in reality, this moved pretty quick
Yes.
within a couple of years for you,
Oh
right?
yeah.
You went from, you're bartending there, trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
but just keeping that go-getter mentality. And that's what it led to.
Yeah.
Shifted quickly with AMH. Then I want to get into Vauxhall, then get into Elsie
Yeah.
Lane. I want to get into all of that. Then I
Yeah.
don't even want to get to like how you go about the menus and all that stuff, because there's so many little intricacies that are involved with restaurants that,
Yeah.
people, I guess if you're involved in it, you would know, right? But with
Mhm.
AMH, we had the opportunity. I've been there a bunch of times when it was the original AMH. My band has played there a couple of times. Now you have AMH where it is now.
Yeah.
When you were involved in it, and it's getting to closer to like 2020, 2021. I mean, 2020 was COVID and shut down a little bit. When did that idea start to say like, yeah, I want to, there's something opens up next door. We want to build and blow this out and make it a bigger venue that you did now. Was that always a thought, or it wasn't? It just kind of happened that way.
You know what, it's I guess it's like anything in business where like we kept hitting roadblocks when we wanted to, like, revolution was down the street and that's fine, it served its purpose, whatever. um but we'd have to keep saying no to so many packages, and we had such large ambition. I work with East Coast Collective at the time, which is Jake Zimmerman, who is now my current partner at AMH. But at the
Hmm.
time, him and Scanlon were just booking as East Coast through me. Like, they were the promoter, they weren't owning the venue. But we'd sit down and like have these discussions about things we wanted to do, and it'd be like, we can't do that. We just don't
It's
have
not
enough.
going to fit in
And
here.
it's not good because now, especially being in hospitality, like, you don't want to do something. We've had some shows that are obviously way too packed out, and sometimes we do that, some whatever. But we're like, we can't do this because it's not going to be good for the band's not going to have a good experience. There's no green room. There's nowhere there for just like to set up. And then Jake was cool. He would like push it. He'd be like, all right, this band usually has a green room, but they're going to be in the van, but they're cool because they're the homies. And it got to a point where just like we just would really love to expand. And the place was vacant next door for a while, and we just
It
went.
was. That's right.
It was
Yeah.
so wild. I mean, I would just walk over. I'd be like, "We got the show ready." Like walking next door, and I'm like, "Man, this is just wasted space." I'm like, "We could. How much could this rent possibly be?" And it turned out that the landlord owned the space as well. And then we talked to him, and I don't remember how it really actually changed because it was no, no, no until it was yes. And
Hmm.
it was like, I think something happened where he owned so much property in Amityville that he was just like, whatever. At this point, you take it. It'll be your responsibility. The maintenance and everything. It's your building. So we ended up buying the building, and that's how we made the thing.
Great.
That was the life-changing moment there. The buying the building was the really, for someone who's an entrepreneur, and like I don't have typical, retirement, or not always, the plans are always changing. At least that's a huge win. And
Oh
then
yeah.
decided to, expand it, and it went way over budget, but
Well,
it's,
like always with those things,
I
right?
mean, what are you gonna do? It's just what it is.
Now,
Yeah.
when that was purchased, did you get a chance to sit back and like soak it in for a second of like what you kind of were saying it a little bit to me. It's like almost like holy shit, like we're just like this is a big deal. Like we're
Yeah.
expanding this place and being able to do that. Or you didn't even have that moment because right from there you have an architect's coming in and kind of talking about how you're gonna kind of reconfigure the entire venue, because
Mhm.
that's what you did. You moved the stage on the other side, everything was
Yeah.
changing, merch area. So we were able to kind of soak any of that in.
You know what? It's funny now because life now, with like having the 3-year-old and life moving so fast, like I really have been looking back and being like, I haven't had a lot of time to
Mm.
stop and go. I walk in though, like when it's closed, and I just walk in during the week and I go, this is ridiculous. Like like it really like it's not lost on me. I wish I had more time to stop and go, wow, this is crazy because there's just been so many ups and downs business wise. I'm finally learning now I have to slow down and look around and enjoy it. I'm very happy and I'm very grateful and it's very awesome, but I wish I could it's always something's closing, opening, selling, buying, trading that it's like, my wife has a lot of patience. So I cut it off sometimes, man.
Yeah,
Um,
but that's true, right? It's because there's so many shows that go there, but you guys do more than that. You do stuff after hours, which is important. You have to do different things in order to
yeah,
keep it moving. So it's like actually kind of it's perfect too. The area in Amityville, like where it is, it's great. There is a parking lot in the back that's big enough. You have Amityville's next door where people go and hang out. And I think you have next door, the other side of AMH, you have that piece
yeah.
too you own, right?
Yes. So Amityville was basically, going back there, when it was Broadway or early AMH, not much in that town. That town is doing so well. There's
Alive, yeah.
some younger people on the town hall that are really embracing us, especially that we've renovated. And yeah, the space is going to be used. Now I'm being able to meld in what I know from the restaurant world and using it as a catering hall. And like me and my wife like renewed our vows in AMH.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
like
so cool.
that's so when me and Jake decided to do this, we're like, we'll do this, but it has to be a community hub where we can rent it out to people at a reasonable price that's nicer than no knock on VFW hall, but it's nicer than your average
It's
VFW.
nicer than a VFW
Just
wall.
nice, just nicer. You know what I mean? But we still don't
Yeah.
bang you over the head because there isn't like a real middle ground. So now we'll have the only, it's a 457 cap room. That's the only one in the island that's doing the kind of music we are. But then using the space, we're in the middle of a great town and using
Cool.
it for all it's worth. And yeah, so next door, Chris Magnotti is just turning it into Keeper Tattoo, and he's going to be open hopefully second week of May.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Great.
that's really great because the plan with that is he wants to like do flash sheets. So like there's a big show coming up, like you can show up early, get a small tattoo, whether it's like an incendiary coffin or whatever.
That's cool.
And he's excited to do like pop-ups. So it's like just the cultural aspect of like having AMH be a place to hang, meet people, get a tattoo. We're trying to do we're already doing a little bit of food program in the back with like barbecuing and just
Yeah, I
that.
was wondering if that's next, if you were thinking of doing that. Like, so that's going to be all kind of interconnected in there because that's coming from the restaurant world from you a little bit, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, I know what it takes. I'm always like a little gun shy to like jump in. Like we have a little space to put a kitchen, but it's very expensive and just kind of leveling off and making sure that we're doing things the right way before I have a tendency to just keep jumping in and doing more and more and more and just breathing for a second and being like, what do we have or what can we do?
mm,
Small jumps now because it's just been these huge leaps and bounds in the last 5 years. I'm just like, let's just the new website should be up very soon. I'm very excited about it. That's going to help flow traffic into the space and show people what we're all about. Get more involved in the actual Amityville community in the South Shore. Uh,
yeah.
and and then all the other stuff will come.
Mhm.
It'll come. We're doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, you really are. Amity L's has got to love you guys because that's the spot. I always go there prior
I love
before
John.
playing or not. Great place, but it's always
Also,
packed. Like, oh, it's probably always packed in general, but always packed. Well, I'm there before a show, so or
but
if
it's
we're
always,
playing,
dude, it's always packed.
it's
Like,
always
and they love
packed. Good
it. And
spot, good people there.
they're very
But
lenient. They're cool with like sometimes you got the caravans and the buses, the vans with the trailers and the buses. And John's like, he very rarely has an issue.
that's
And we
awesome.
had neighbors that did care a lot. It was a pain in the ass. He's like, nah, it's cool, man. Like he's like, just people are hanging out. You walk in Amityville, you got normies from Amityville watching sports. You got dudes with mohawks. You got kids.
True.
He's like, this is crazy, and I'm like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. It
Yeah.
is. But even within AMH,
Mhm.
you guys, I told Scanlon this, and you guys, everybody there is great. The hospitality is great. All the people that work there, from the security guards, the sound is amazing there. Like the sound sounds great there. So you guys, like, yeah, you knocked it out of the park with that one. It's a great place. It's a great place, man. And it's just the crazy thing is just beginning, and that's
Yeah.
You guys have only been open. It's gonna be 2 years this summer.
We don't
The
even
the
have
new one.
we don't even have the awning up yet. We don't even have the real sign up yet. Like it still feels.
Oh, really? When's that?
Yeah,
That's
I think
gonna.
in 2 weeks from now, there's going to be an awning out front, light up that says Amityville Music Hall, like LEDs on the bottom.
Oh,
Like
cool.
it's just like it does feel like that. We're still just getting going, because like there's one aspect when you don't have some big team behind you, and I've learned this now, like everything is you. So like when Jake's like, all right, we need a PR person to like promote the place and we need this. And I'm like had the hard hat on, like working with my, good to go maintenance, which is like Josh, like the guy that constructed the place with me. And I'm like, they're like, oh, but then you have to function as a new space too, and the marketing and this and that and other thing, and like you're putting all your money on the line. It should have a team behind it. It's like
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
most you see these bigger places and they do, and like we don't. So there is so much that we haven't even done yet that we have in the works. There's so
That's
much.
amazing. And
Yeah,
it sounds like partially it's like in a way that's good, right? Because you lived in it for a little, and then you maybe there was some things you initially thinking you're like, this might not work, to like where it
100%,
maybe led you to
100%,
another idea, right?
100%. Yeah, like we don't
Yeah,
need that. That was overkill. I'm glad we didn't buy that. Forget that idea. It's not worth it. And reallocating funds and stuff like that. So yeah,
yeah. Great spot, great home base. It's again, it's one of those places when people look back, because it's still going to be here. There's a difference with that. Like where we were just talking about Deja One, PWAC. I'm going to bring up Dr. Shays, all these like
yeah.
places. AMH is that spot that people are going to be talking about and continue to talk about that's going to be around for a while.
Mhm.
I guess let's turn now into, Elsie and VauxHall and all that kind of stuff. So how do you, well, actually, you know what? This is how I'll lead into it. This is the way I'll ask. Balancing that, right? Because
Mhm.
it's you can't be ripped in three different pieces or the other things that you're involved in. How do you
Mhm.
manage running all these places? You got a team. I mean, you need that.
Yeah.
You can't take care of everything, right? But how do you manage that with AMH, but then these restaurants and stuff like that in terms of taking care of it? Fortunately, it's where you live, these places, but
Yeah.
how do you take care of
Fortunately,
all
fortunately and unfortunately, because I have to learn to delegate more and you start learning about what ownership is. And, you know, over the past, I mentioned before we started recording, like over the past 10 years, I've opened, closed, sold like 9 different spots. Like I did a barbecue spot, a burrito spot, an ice cream store, the other
that?
Elsie Lane in Belmore, um, AMH Promo Corp, as you mentioned, that's actually just a ticketing corporation. DES Pub is the actual corporation for the bar.
Okay.
There's so many. I mean, but just the point where like everything you do is like new LLC, go to the lawyer, new this, new that, selling, liquor license, liability, all that stuff. That yeah, it's a lot. And then the reason, I mean, my logic behind only having the three right now was part of that because it is completely ridiculous. At one point, I had like five going or six.
Wow.
Like this is no one's benefiting from me having all these things. We were just building. I love building. I love
Right.
building space. It's
I
all
could see that you enjoy that. Like, yeah.
yeah, and that's fine when you're like early 30s and you're like, all right, cool, great. But then you're like, all right, well, what are we doing now? Are we just building to build? Like the potential of Vauxhall and Elsie Lane, that too is just we're just touching it right now. Even though Vauxhall's been there for 10 years, there's so much more I can do. And now it's nice to be able to focus on the owner side of things and trying to build the brand so that my team makes more money and we can all eat, you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
instead of me micromanaging everything and trying to do everything myself. So it's
Right.
hard. It's very hard.
Yeah.
It's cool that I lived on the block, but it's also a curse because everyone kind of feels like I'm always available, which I kind of am. So it's just setting up boundaries and walls and being able to say no and delegate. And I'm learning every day because,
Every day, right? You're
yeah.
always learning every right with this,
And I
right? You
have
have
great,
to.
I got a great team in AMH. Like all the teams are great. AMH I'm just saying that specifically because I can't be there all the time because it's Amityville and I have so much going on over here. And this is so hands-on every day, all day. Um, that the team over there, it feels really nice from Scanlon and Chris McCarthy, who's a missing link, and he's
Yep.
Antonio Longo. He's now managing the like general manager as the space right now. And
Oh, is he? Oh, is that's great. Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's funny. I've known him since I was, I was seeing Zayo when I was 14, Um, and having Jake, who's just and none of this AMH stuff could happen without on the level we're doing it from day one before Jake was even my partner without Jake.
Mm,
Jake is the connection, the line through for everything.
mm.
I know how to book a show, I know how to throw a party, I know how to do that kind of stuff. But the connections and the long-term relationships that Jake has made from being a Long Island promoter to being the agent to some of the biggest bands in
Yeah.
the world. I mean, it can't be said enough. Like I can build the bar, I can build the sound system, I could do all that stuff and run it, but getting the level of talent we have because of the network and hardcore that Jake and then Scanlon have brought to the like it's insane. I'm just feel so
Yeah.
lucky. It's just so lucky because I'll book a show and be like, they'll book a show and be like, this is bucket list. Every week it's like another bucket list band, another bucket list band. Like tomorrow Thursday's playing. Like Thursday's playing the venue, and Chris Conley's like playing it too from Saves the Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Like it's nothing. Like
It's
young,
cool.
young, young Dan would be like, that's crazy.
It's cool too. You talk about that with that show, and it's like it's almost because you've had so many of these shows like that there, right? You just it's almost it's a good thing. It's like almost like, oh yeah, that's an amazing show that it's not expected is the wrong word, but it's just that's the kind of shows that you guys have there,
Yeah, and it's
you
crazy.
know?
It's just yeah, because like Scanlon will come up with this idea because I can't be thinking about this stuff, So it's
Well, you
almost
got you got your hands in so many different things, right?
when he does it, he's like, we're gonna do Biohazard 2 days. I'm like, sure we are.
That was nuts.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then the restaurant side, Billy's got a tequila company. So I'm talking to Billy on the phone about like bringing his. So then I brought his tequila into VauxHall, and I got my servers like picking up people that are obviously hardcore punk or scene and
Hmm.
selling spicy tequila because Scanlon booked this show, and it's just that I love like
All
that
right, you know, it
the best like just
all works.
mixing it all together. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was actually wanting to go back to the restaurant piece of it for a little bit and talk about that, like with the so how do you now you're out there you've had this now. Vauxhall's over 10 years old now, right, give or take, almost, right?
Yeah, 2015.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's over, it's close to 11 now. It's which is crazy, and right, you have Elsie Lane and all that. How do you go about, let's talk, because now it's like this is my favorite part. I told you what I said, like with the food that you post, so that this is where I want to get into that piece of it. So
Yeah.
the chefs, like you had this chef, which was so far, this guy's probably a well-renowned chef. You didn't weren't, and you didn't even you
I
didn't
know.
know.
Yeah.
How do you connect with that? How do you find chefs? Is it based on you have a certain kind of food that you and your partners want in these places, and then you get a chef that's related to that? How does that work?
Yeah, so there's a few ways to do it. There's like the chef-driven restaurant where like a chef will get a money backer and then hook up with a partner, and maybe the partner does front of house stuff and the chef takes care of the back, or this the chef's total vision. That's one way. The way that we did it was we had a menu idea, and chef came in and he's like, "You want to?" It's really cool because it's like he's like, "You want a cheeseburger?" I'm like, "Yeah, cool." He goes to the grocery store. He makes me the best fucking cheeseburger I've ever had in my whole life, and I was like emotional about it. I'm like, "You kidding me?" He's like, "Yeah, I could do it. I know what you want." He goes, "I got brioche bun. I know the size meat you want. I know that. I know we're gonna go to Main Street Meats in Farmingdale. This is nothing. This is just from Stop and Shop." He goes, "Well, let me cook and let me just do my
Huh.
thing." And then him being kind enough to let me understand the food stuff, like some of the stuff you could watch like on documentary now or Netflix, or like the show like The Bear and stuff, like
Yeah, yeah.
learned all that stuff like in real time. So it's very weird for me to watch it because it really is that it's that when Maddie Matheson's like fixing the toilet, like you're fixing the toilet all the time. That's not, I mean, we're talking about food stuff, but um
But like little things like that are big things
yeah.
that you have to do.
Yeah, but what Chef taught me was like, the French style. So he was gracious enough, like all he did in the culinary school and everything he learned. He's like, all the recipes are built sauce up. And I'm like, I never heard that before. And he's like, yeah, we don't cut burgers in half. We don't put salt and pepper on the table. I'm like, why? And he's like, well, because the chef seasons it. And if it's not seasoned correctly, then that's the chef's fault. We're trying to put our, like, how to order, how to build a menu. You know, the question, like, do you do a build your own burger or do you have signature setups? What does that mean? What are you allowed to do? How do you plate? And I was like just loving all of it. So like a good example is we put smash burgers on the menu at VauxHall. Okay, it doesn't seem what's the big deal? You just whatever. Our whole identity was based around that half-pound burger. So I'm like having an identity crisis about what it means. Like, why does this place exist? Like, why do you go to McDonald's? Like, why do you go to Carvel? Why? Not because you have some side item or something. Like, what's your identity? And that kind of stuff drives me insane. But
Mhm.
that's like how you stay true to your brand and your vision and stay on course. Like a lot of times you're like, I like this, but I'm not putting it on the menu because it's not about what I like. Like
Mhm.
it's not just like if it's what I
Yeah.
like, then I'm just gonna play, you know, old Orange County hardcore all day and I'm just gonna like serve the food like penne alla vodka and then we're gonna do that. Like that's it's not about me, it's about the
Mhm.
bigger vision of like what the place is and like what it's supposed to be. It doesn't sound too much pretend like it's just it's weird coming from a place where I had no idea about food at all and I can barely cook. Like
Oh, interesting. I was going to ask you that too.
I
Can
no, I can't cook.
have you learned it all? I know we're talking about this, but we'll get back. But
I mean, if you threw me down there, I know the techniques because we go over it, you know.
that's not your thing.
It's not
That
my
yeah.
thing. I mean, I know like how prep work works, you know. I can expo with the best of them, you know. I'll get food out, I'll get it to the table. Um, and I actually enjoy it. I don't really do it anymore, but because I have a great team, I know they don't even need me to do it right now.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's weird from like learning something and getting really into how it's supposed to be and like sticking to it. Like just
Yeah.
the menu design, like the little nuances of like how you talk to the customer and hospitality and touching tables and it's the seat numbers, like don't auction your food off, like you know that this person got this food, it should be in the POS so you see it. So it's a nice transition. You're not just auctioning who got the chicken, you know, whatever. All
Right.
these little things are like all day, and then I'll come in and then I'll talk to my team and be like, hey, you know, just make sure we stay on top of this, that, the other thing. So it's just a lot.
Yeah. It is a lot of stuff. And do you with the menu?
Mhm.
Is it seasonal at both of these places or not necessarily? Like, does it change up? I'm just making it up, in like the fall when like, I'm just thinking football's on and like you're switching things up and you have like or in like in the winter is it different? The spring, do you change your menu up a little?
We used to do it a little bit more when I like had more time, because that's what sucks. Because then it becomes a me thing that shouldn't really be about me. But
Right.
like, really, it's keeping the identity. Like VauxHall is burgers, tap beer, cocktails. So you keep that in that lane, and then what complements that, and like that's what you do. Elsie Lane, great smash burgers, but it's wings. It's wings all day. Like
Oh.
have three fryers and then we're adding a fourth fryer and it's just like wings all day. We do them special, sauce on the side. The reason we do sauce on the side because the kitchen's really small. Since the kitchen's really small, you can't be having all the pans like you can't be saucing all the wings. There'd be dirty bowls everywhere. So it's very like I can't go to my kitchen manager Caesar and be like, hey, I want to do pizza. He's gonna be like, get the fuck out of here. Like you know, but we are some exciting to Vauxhall though. We're doing some specials. I'm adding some more traditional tavern items, and we used to do burger specials every week. I'm going to bring them back every month. People seem
Oh.
to really like that.
Mhm.
And seasonal, I mean, not not too much, but we like to play with, we're playing with specials again, and it feels good. It's fun. It's a thing that we got through COVID, you know, and what COVID did, it would stripped everything back. Like I never took a day off during COVID.
Mhm.
I was in Vauxhall every single day during COVID. But maybe a few days off, I guess.
Right.
Um, because we couldn't pay staff. You know, we had a little help with the PPP loan that helped just, cover payroll. But when that happened though, I was forced to pull away everything that wasn't essential. So it was like just our burgers, and it was only like three or four of them, and then just the chicken sandwiches, and no real plates, no real silverware, no like. So everything got pulled back, and it's weird now going back in. Well, now it's years later, but there's still little things about COVID that like, oh man, we should add this back. We should bring it back because it would go so stripped down to
Hmm.
very basics. But then you also realize the basics are what you're there for, like burgers, cocktails, beer. That's what VauxHall is.
Right.
It's
Right.
not too crazy.
So what a day in the life almost for you? Obviously in the afternoon, you're not really at AMH, unless maybe you are, you have to stop over there. It's not near you, but with Elsie Lane and VauxHall, like, do you say, okay, Mondays, Tuesdays, I'm just making it up. I'm going to be at VauxHall, and then Wednesday, Thursdays, I'll go to Elsie Lane, or it doesn't work that way. Or since they're so close, you could kind of kind of go back and forth to them.
LC and Vox is just so close. Like I consider that like one work day that's like Monday is Vauxhall LC Lane on Monday because there's no real reason. Like my office, like I'm in my office right now, it's Vauxhall and LC Lane's office. So
Okay, it's a combo thing. Hmm.
everything's here. Like I'm starting my week off here. I'm doing scheduling and paying the bills and whatever. But the staff who's ordering needs to like everything has to go past me before it gets ordered. So like that's what that looks like. And then for AMH, if there's like a project, then I'll go down there. Like we're clearing out the upstairs right now, and like there's always something going on. But even
Hmm.
like today, like I ran over here because I was at Elsie like replacing a TV because that's what I had to do today. I didn't have
Hmm.
to be in the living
Okay.
room. It's just like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I ran back over here, and it's just it's always something. So yeah.
Yeah. Is there days where you like date like is it open 7 days a week or you take a day off with it? Is it or it depends based on the time of the year.
Oh, we're open 7 days a week.
7 days a week, right? You don't close on Mondays or anything like that, right?
No, I mean I dabbled with it, and then like a lot of other places in Huntington did, and I'm like, well, if we stay open, then they're all gonna come to us, and
Hmm.
we have a strong industry crowd. So Mondays, like when everyone works all weekend, the bartenders and everything come to us, and we're
Hmm.
known for that, and it's part of our identity. Like having food late night when you get off your shift, like that's a big part of playing alternative music, having late night burgers. Like you were working all weekend, you come in on Monday night, industry night, and you just like you're hanging out, and we're gonna give you happy hour pricing at like 11 o'clock at night.
Hmm.
It's just it's part of our niche. Do I like the idea of closing one day a week? It'd probably be great to give everything a rest, but it's just not what we do.
Yeah. And Huntington's got such a great nightlife, right? Too. So and even not even night, like even in the afternoon or it's just busy. People are walking around, so
It's great. I mean, just like now, like I just walked over from Vaux, and then my wife and my daughter were just walking down the street.
ah,
I'm like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm gonna go hang this TV. Like, oh, we're gonna come with you, and it's like, it's a town, it's a little village, like
right, right, right.
it's a big village, but like it's like everybody, and it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. What keeps you motivated? Um, keep doing it with we'll talk with these the big project. What's keeping that motivation going? Because I can hear the excitement in your voice with it. I'm sure some days it might not be as much, but what keeps that motivation to keep running and going? And knowing you, honestly, man, if I had you back on here in 2 years, you'd be talking about something else that you were looking to build with these three and then something else. But what's
Probably.
that motivation?
Well, now it's my daughter, like that,
Yeah.
you know, which is funny because I was already like this, but now it's just, it's
Changes everything, right? Yeah.
it's crazy,
Yeah.
and I think motivation, but also learning how to hold back a little bit in the right ways, like because now at this point you got a lot. I'm no, obviously I'm known for being restaurant hardcore guy. So if someone has an idea or for a bar or something, they come to me, and I think it's just as important to realize that it's not as much as I would just say yes to everything because I like building, I like the excitement of it, I like picking out the equipment and making the sound system cool at the restaurant or AMH. But being able to say no and realize like it's a business, and
Mhm.
you can't just say yes to everything and go wild, especially when you have a 3-year-old. You
Right,
have
right.
to make sure that you're making these decisions, not just in the beginning it was like, I mean, it could be real with it. It was like the ego bar. Like I wanted the cool bar in Huntington, and I still have that, but that stuff goes away.
Yeah,
It's just like I don't see myself with some of these younger cats that like open these like clubby type things, like, oh, look at me, look at me. Like I used to be more of the face of VauxHall. I mean, I am for people who know, but I'm not really that. It's not like, oh, this is Dan's thing. This now I'm
right.
more like, it's a business, run it efficiently, make sure we're giving the guests a great time. Less about me, more about what's going on. In the beginning,
Right.
it was good because all the hardcore and punk kids came, and it was actually part of the business model. But now it's like I don't. We in the beginning it was always like, well, now you're going to go on a date. You don't have to take your date to Applebee's. You can come to Vauxhall, and like we're playing Alkaline Trio, and like
Mhm.
and there's a lot of vegan options, and like there's non-alcoholic options, and there's stuff for everybody. So it was part of it, but now it's just I like doing cool shit, and it's just deciding what's cool and smart, which is not always making the best,
Mhm.
but having like a little bit of pause, like, is this going to be good for the long run, and is this good for the brand? You know, because and then knowing what works and what doesn't work. And I just try to be respectful for when people try to talk to me because I don't know it all. If I did know it all, then I'd be a gajillionaire, and I'm still like
Mhm.
a regular guy. I've just bought myself a couple jobs, really. That's all it is.
Mhm.
What I do know, a lot of what doesn't work. So
Yeah.
always, I love talking to people about it. I'd be like, hey, I can give you some advice for free. Um, and if you want me to tell you what's hard, because I've just learned so much and I've had so many failures that I don't mind talking about it.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you that because you had some, and that's going to happen, right? You had these different, like the ice cream place, you had all these different places that, like you said, it didn't work itself out,
Mm.
which had to be, it's probably a little shot to the stomach a little bit. At any point, did you feel while you were doing that, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be, this is not it. I'm not going to be doing this anymore. Or that you were already just so, okay, I got to look at the next thing here to try and get going here. Like, was there ever that feeling?
For better for worse, maybe it's in my DNA or just how I am. Like I never thought like, hey, let's stop doing this. I'll go back and get a regular job. So I guess maybe that is actually part of the motivation. I don't want to have a regular job. Just
Mhm.
don't. It's just not for me. I'll do whatever, but now it's different. I got the baby. I'll do whatever it takes. Like I told my
Right.
wife, I'm like, if I gotta let this go and get a 9 to 5, that's fine. I mean, but
Mhm.
that's never part of my plan. If something fails, I just pivoted to try to make
Mhm.
something else happen. Like when the barbecue restaurant that I loved it. It was so great. Chef Mike, we were untouchable with Vox. We had 5 stars on Yelp. We're just crushing. The place next door opened. We jumped in. We thought like, hey, it's just gonna work, and it didn't. And I'm like,
Sometimes that happens, right?
like,
Unfortunately.
we're right next door. He's like, yeah, well, you kind of split your people a little bit, and the food was a little similar, but not really hitting the right way. And then we decided to change that over into the burrito spot, and we closed on a Friday night, and we opened the next Friday, and it was a barbecue spot, and we flipped it over into a burrito spot.
Uh,
And that was insane. I remember it was my birthday in the middle of that build week. I'm like, we just got to do it. I was fine.
mhm.
Like it was like crap everywhere, and I'm like, we got to put a surfboard on the wall. We got to do like just like I'm proud of that place. And then we sold that place, and we ended up just keep on keeping on.
You kept moving. That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. So, what's where do you see these three places in the next 5 years?
Vauxhall, I would love to just be. There was a place in Huntington called Canterbury Ales, and it was like, oh,
Uh,
yeah, and it was just there forever. And similar, not similar, but more so that it had the staying power. And the restaurant space is so tumultuous right now. Prices are insane. I'm doing everything I can to keep the pricing. I'm running specials so everyone can at least get my food without it being, you know, ridiculous. Like we're doing Wednesday
mm,
night burger nights, $10 burgers. So you want it? I have a
Wow.
plan for you. Like you come down on Wednesday all day, all night. It's $10. You know, if you want to add, and it comes with like our signature setup, a la carte. You're good to go. You get an $8 beer. You can for $20 with a tip. You can come in, eat, hang,
Yeah.
and like trying to do stuff like that. And but it's just hard because the restaurant space is not something you really want to get into right now. And I hope that the world stops being so crazy and you can make an honest, regular living doing this because I'd love Vox to just be here for years. I'd love to have another Vox in another town, but right now everything is just. I hope it becomes a staple like Canterbury Ells was. Elsie
Right.
Lane is just a really cool concept. Eric, no, Eric's not in Elsie Lane. Sal, Bill from Leaky, Ryan, and my friend Mike. They have the other three Elsie Lanes in Belmore, New Hyde Park, and Lynbrook. I love the brand. I didn't develop the wing recipe. An old friend did. I got into the brand. I just love doing it in Huntington. I think it's just a really cool Main Street spot, and I'm really proud
Mm,
of it. And I'm proud of how we're doing it. And I hope it just becomes it's just like a Long Island staple where it's just a sports bar that's not like for like shitty people, like just good people that want to have a good time and a lot of families. And that's obviously really important to me now too, that you can bring
right.
family in. And it's like a Main Street staple, we have a nice long lease and hopefully we're there the whole time, you know?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then AMH, right? What do you? What's a
AMH is
just
there's a
keep
ton of
keep
cool
going.
stuff.
It's a well-oiled machine. Keep moving along, right?
AMH is like so much potential to do so much cool stuff. And then like my only regret is that that I can't be there every day doing everything. But not doing
How
everything,
can you, right? I
thinking
mean,
of thinking about ideas all day. Because I used to love that when I managed it. I'm just like, let's have a jam band show, or let's have, you know, um, Tim Halley from Fit for an Autopsy. He would bring like Tombstone hardware, and we have barbecues in the back, and he would have like
mm,
bands play and selling food and like pop ups. And we used to do a hip hop night every Tuesday. Like for 5 years, we had a hip hop night every Tuesday, like a showcase of hip hop
mm.
artists and like live artwork and cool like gospel singers would come in. It was like all this cool stuff, and like we haven't even begun at AMH. AMH has so
That's amazing. And think of it, everything that has been accomplished. Let's just say for 2 years now. There at AMH, this the new one.
yeah.
You
It's
know.
lots of stuff for the backyards, plans. There's just
Oh,
any
like the back area.
yeah. We have some stuff that we couldn't do because we kind of ran out of funding, but
Mm.
there's stuff that's slowly going to get added, and I the potential's ridiculous. I just want to keep meeting people and working with people that see the place for in the space for what it is and have ideas. Like actually I have to text Scanlan back. Someone wanted to do a Zumba class in it. I have to text them. So
Awesome.
there's people just being like, hey, can we do this? And it's like, yeah, we're doing live band karaoke on Thursday. It's Sam from Playing Dead. Like they have their band where you come and sing like Jimmy Eat World and stuff. And
That's cool.
just stuff. And I want to just let it's not that expensive to rent it. Come in and just express art and music and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's a great place, man. It really is. All right, last question here, but then I have a bunch of like rapid fire kind of questions to ask you that'll be all over the place.
Cool.
You talking about this maybe I think before, um, but I really want to stop. It's what advice if you could go back in time? Let's go back to that 2010, right? Was that when you first started at
Yeah,
Broadway Bar? Like,
yeah, but
what advice would you give to yourself back at that point in time? Because think of all the experiences you've had the last 15, 16 years,
mhm.
all the success. Um, and honestly, you've been doing it for a while now, which is crazy to think about, right? It's been a while, but your mind's still moving about ideas of things that you have. So you're not stopping. So what
Mhm.
would you go back and say to yourself at that point in time when you weren't even thinking about this stuff of advice to yourself, where you were at that point in time?
I mean, maybe advice. I'd just be glad to because I was in such like a what am I going to do with my life situation, and maybe that motivation just kept going. Advice. I mean, I've like kind of what I was getting into before, like taking more time for myself and like just being able to like But then at the same time, a lot of those crazy decisions ended up without them, it wouldn't have happened. So it's hard to go back and be like, hey Dan, it's gonna get really cool and crazy. I don't know. It's just maybe don't stay too late at the bars too often. Other than that, um, just it's hard because I wanted to maybe I could say to myself, don't be afraid to be a boss sometimes because I always wanted to own these spots and do this stuff once it started rolling. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, it's a drag. I'm like, I don't want to really be a boss. I just want to run a cool club. It's like, well, you gotta put your big boy pants on and like make hard decisions. And, you know, sometimes the hard decisions, whether people agree with you or don't agree with you, it works out probably you're helping them out by making those hard decisions. Sometimes
Right.
it's
Right.
all where I just
Mhm.
go, no, I don't want to be the bad guy. It's like you're not going to be the bad guy. Like if have confidence in the things you definitely know, you know and follow through with those things and then go with your gut. So
Mhm.
that would be it. Yeah. That'd be
Yeah.
it.
Oh, that's great. All right, man. So here are a bunch of questions. It's going to go from music to you deciding what's your favorite item on a menu. Like you're gonna be like, okay, okay, all
And
right, Chris. Okay, so I guess we'll start. What are your top three favorite albums of all time?
it's so hard because I'm
Mhm.
such a music lover. I'm like all over the place. But have certain bands that always shaped me. So I'm gonna go with like one group of bands as one of them.
Sure. So whatever
So
works. Mhm.
like the Further Seems Forever, Strong Arm, Shai-Hulud, like all that. That was a huge thing for me growing up and my brother growing up. But that was a huge big deal. So like that crew of guys in those bands were a huge thing.
Mhm.
Um, it's almost like I want to pick. There's just too much.
Mhm.
I don't know. I knew I was like maybe I should. I'm like I know you're going to ask me this, and I'm going to have to come with an answer.
You know
Um,
what's funny why I ask people this? Someone asked me this on a podcast, and I like completely. I'm not. You didn't do this at all. Your answer is actually really good. And I forgot what like influenced me. Sometimes I have to stop and I'm like, and then I get off. I'm like, no, I that's what I'm into. It took me a minute to like figure that out.
yeah, I mean because I also just it's like three would get the obvious answers like hate breed satisfaction like obviously, and then it's just like
By the way, that was super cool what you guys did to close the original AMH. Have them
yeah.
come in for a weekend. That was amazing.
That was Galen and Jake. They're just like, yo, this is gonna be crazy. I'm like, you guys are the fucking
What a
best.
cool way to close out, right? Like it had to be.
I'm getting chills. I'm getting chills thinking about it. It's like
Right.
I'm so lucky, and maybe that's why I don't have such a huge desire to play anymore because A, I'm not that good, but B,
No.
because I'm so grateful and I have all these bands all the time that I love and I'm playing
Playing your place.
my space and I get to enjoy it. So I'm just like overwhelmed with stuff where it's like,
Yeah.
like Pianos Become the Teeth are one of my favorite bands. It didn't even sell out, but it was an incredible show. But then like Shelter's one of my favorite bands. So you can
Man,
go,
they played a year
I
ago.
I literally go the gamut of like most punk. I'm not a huge metal guy, but yeah, it's just but then everything like Hot One Music is like one of my favorite bands.
Right.
So I can't really pick three.
Nah, but you hit a lot of good ones.
But I hit some good
Ask
ones.
you, what's your favorite Silent Majority song? Like song that you like, that Silent Majority song that you like.
I remember I got See, this is how eclectic I am. I remember I went and bought Life of a Spectator, but I also bought Zao Liberate and I bought a Zao Training for Utopia split. So I was
Cool.
really living in both worlds at the same time. And I remember
Yeah.
doing homework listening to the Sound Majority Life of a Spectator. I'm like, this is incredible that these guys are from Long Island. I'm just so lucky. They sound Long Island. They just did.
Hmm.
Cool. And I went to their last show. It was like in that snowstorm.
Yep.
Yeah, and my friend drove me to that show. I mean that whole record, I mean, I could really just put it on. But actually, you know what though? Was the EP where the windows down?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. That has a lot of good memories with my friend Andrew. Like we would always be like singing that, like driving home from Leaky Life
Yeah.
back.
Cool. Right. Brings you back. Right. That
Yeah, like it
stuff.
was right back. I'm thinking about like driving down 135, driving up 135 back up to Huntington and blasting that record. Um, Yeah, it hits every time. Yeah.
That one, huh? A band that you really would. I mean, you've had a lot of them that you would love to have at AMH.
That is so hard.
Mhm.
It's-
That would I don't know, say unreal, not real, well, not realistic, I guess, right? Or realistic, I guess,
all right,
right? Like,
here's one total curveball because I love Not a Surf, and I
oh,
love
cool.
yeah, and that's another thing that connected me to a time because Chef Mike loved Not a Surf, and like it reminds me of opening Vaux, and I've had most of the not well most of my bucket list in hardcore, so like that Not a Surf specifically and bands like that, like rock, like 90s bands, but Not a Surf would be like huge. I'd be really fucking happy if we.
Mhm. Cool.
I asked Jake every like 6 months, and he's like, "I don't know, Dan. I'll figure it out."
So you're still pushing, you're trying. What's a show that you missed at AMH you just couldn't be there that you really wanted to be at? Right? Because there's sometimes you got to be at VauxHall, you got to be at Elsie, you got to be at different places,
A lot more
or got
lately.
to be home and be dad.
A
You
lot more
know?
lately because of being home and being dad. So I just
Yeah.
have to go. I just can't. But I didn't go to the sound majority with glass show one. I couldn't go to that. So that was
Oh, the one, the three, yeah. I
yeah,
didn't.
like
That was out of the three. That's the one I didn't go to. I couldn't.
yeah, the three. I went.
My mother-in-law's birthday. I couldn't miss that.
I'm like I couldn't justify it. So, but
Yeah,
that one that was pretty upset about that one. But
missing that one.
it's weird. But Michelle's like, you're not like freaking. I'm like, what am I gonna do? There's just so much. Like I missed Shia Lud the last time they played, and I'm
Oh, the
like,
one we did with them.
you guys did, yeah.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
a Dan Valentino show, front to back. And she's like, you're not gonna go. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I can go to all of them, you know?
You can, well, the good news is, well, it's not the same, but it's on YouTube, right? Like, so you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
see
yeah.
those on there.
Which
That
which
was good vibes that night, man. It just felt like the holidays. It was like a few days before the holidays, and it was just good. Yeah, it was just good vibes in there that night. It was just like usual at AMH, you know.
Speaking of YouTube though, Antonio spoke to the Reigns. We have two cameras in there, and so now we made the YouTube channel. We have a new TikTok. All these things are all fine. Even 2 years in now, it's all coming together. Like we have the 4K cameras. We put up the Baroness show on YouTube, and it's doing fantastic. So that's gonna be happening a
That's
lot.
cool. Like a new wave of things that you guys
Yeah,
are
not
doing.
just
That's
everyone
awesome.
else who does it, who's there. It's going to actually be it's AMH's YouTube.
That's cool.
Excited about it because we haven't even started really working on that yet for a couple videos. So
That's coming. That's awesome.
yeah,
What was your favorite show at the new AMH that was put together?
yeah.
You've had some banger shows, so it's going to be tough to.
Bangers. I just love E Town so much that the first E Town show felt like
Another one we did. It's cool you
oh,
picking these.
yeah, right.
We did that one. That was with Gridiron
Those,
too. That was fun.
yeah, that was so special. I don't know. It just felt I was like, this is a good ass time. I'm like, I feel we're at a party right now. I'm like, that.
Yeah, that's how I felt actually at the last Warped Weeble Wobbles reunion
Mhm.
that they played in January. I felt like I just like a really crowded, fun house party we were at. Like it was
Violent.
awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Your favorite show at the old AMH, even going back to Broadway.
Um, it was Hatebreed,
I
obviously,
had a feeling you were gonna say that.
obviously, but we did two A Love for Enemies reunions, and the first one we did was really special because it was with Antarabe for the 2 days, and
Mm.
it was just felt really cool for me to play for someone who doesn't not that I don't care about playing, but I can't mentally put it in my head where I could like give a band anything of real value right now.
Mhm.
It's nice to look back on when I did the reunion shows. That was
Yeah.
it was nice to be able to do that. I was like,
Yeah, meaningful to you, right?
place, these are my best friends I toured the world with. We're gonna have some cool shows. People were like grateful that we did it. Not, it was nice. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Your favorite meal at Vauxhall?
I have a burger named after myself. It's called a Dan Smash, and that's my favorite thing.
That's it.
And I did it because we put Smash Burger on, and I'm betting on this one. Like this is gonna be good. And Sal has the Evil Sal on the menu. Evil Sal is his Instagram handle, and he has Evil Sal written on his guitar picks, and his Evil Sal is everything. And I was like, you know what? I want a burger, and I didn't think it
Okay.
would take off. And now I'm like, I wish I named it anything else. It just doesn't make any sense. And it was like a joke. And the reason we called it Dan Smash was because I'm kind of a bigger guy, and we were building AMH. Anytime we had to like knock something down, like Eric Finneran would just we were like, give me a hammer. He'd be like, just you just Dan Smash this, like Hulk Smash this, just Dan Smash this.
To be the name. It has to be.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm gonna call it Dan Smash, but it's real.
Uh-huh.
The burger's fucking unreal, and my mission right now is to get so many people to try it because there's a lot of burgers out there, and it's freaking great. Like
That's your, that's very
I'm very blessed with my kitchen staff. They're phenomenal. Like just
mhm.
the way they cook this stuff. So
Cool. Favorite meal at Elsie? Favorite thing to get, eat,
oh, the wings. The wings
the
are
wings.
yeah,
Which ones, by the way? I'm a wings guy, so I like.
we do wings differently. So the wings we brine them for 24 hours,
Ooh,
and we bake them. So they're already baked. Then to order, we fry them. So they come out
okay.
like little rotisserie chickens. They're like nothing you ever had before. And all we've now we took some sauces off, like 16 sauces you can choose from, and they come on the side. So you can get 5 different sauces and you just dip them on everything.
So you dip in as you. Oh, okay. So
Dip
that's great.
Like that's the concept. Like we don't toss them. We'll toss them if you really make a big deal about it. In the beginning, people did, but now we're known for it. Um, I can't wait for you to come down and bring the family. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
it's
I
wild.
can't. Yeah, and then I'm almost ready. I almost just put the laptop down and was ready to drive over and eat that burger that you were talking about. That sounds great. I'm for sure. I'm definitely gonna have that stuff. Last one here, man. Uh, a band or artist you like that may surprise people.
Mm, What's the not a surf thing? But I mean, I like again putting on that because with the second I close this laptop, I'm gonna be like, why the fuck did I just say the most obvious thing? And I can't even think about it. I'm a big like emo guy. Like Page of the Lions, like one of my favorite
All
bands.
right, cool,
David Bazan,
cool.
anything David Bazan does is huge for me. Um, you know what it is? There's so much new music, and when I was just bartending before AMH came, or before we went in, I kind of like wasn't in Love for Enemies. I was playing sometimes, I was kind of out of it. But being in AMH, I'm and Jake being my best friend and my partner, and Scanlon like having to be in the know. I have so much new music that I'm checking out all the time that I
Yeah,
feel like I'm just over in a good way. But I'm like,
right.
like the new, whatever, the new gridiron or the new whatever. Like it's
Hmm.
all
You're listening. Yeah,
I'm listening. Yeah, listening to Citizen, listening to Turnover. I'm listening, I love Super Heaven. I love Balancing Composure. I love all that stuff.
cool. Yeah. So you get to like hear all that kind of stuff while you're doing this.
Yeah.
Dan, thanks, man, so much, man. This week could have kept going on, and but the good news is I'll see you at like, shows and when and then absolutely at your restaurants because I'm definitely come with the family pretty soon. Anything you want to end with?
No, well, it's been a pleasure. And again, I mean it like great memories of going to see Overthrow. My
Thank
friend
you.
took me to Long Island Zoo. One show in particular, my brother we would talk about it. Like I was like, how do I get the guitar tone? Like you guys are just, I was like it was just really cool. So I'm really
Cool.
honored to be here. I'm glad you're doing this. It's this kind of stuff is so important. It used to be zines. Zines still have a place, but you being in hardcore, being our generation, it means so much. And I think to close, just to say that these networks and these things, like everyone thinks in society, like you got to go to like this great school and network with all these rich people, and that's gonna no, you network in your hardcore scene, in your local community,
Yeah.
like really good stuff can happen. And the world is really rough right now. It's not exactly the time for everyone to just jump in making burger restaurants like the crazy kids that me and Sal and Eric were. But you can do shit and believe that you can do it. You don't have to be stuck in some thing you don't want to do. And
Right.
network within this community because you meet some great, amazing people. And it only gets better by podcasts, booking shows, doing the zine, showing up and tabling a show. Maybe like it used to be the anti-racist action table, used to be food, not bombs. Like, love to see more of that. And that kind of stuff just keeps breeding the community. And yeah. And then if you turn into business, great. If you turn into a band, great. Whatever.
All true, man. Thanks, bud. Hang tight. I'm just going to sign us off and then we'll chat up when we're done. Okay. Thank you for listening to the What Lies Ahead podcast, which is available on all streaming platforms. Go save the What Lies Ahead podcast playlist on Spotify that features all bands that were on the show. For more information on future episodes, you can go to my Instagram account and follow at What Lies Ahead _podcast and on Facebook by searching What Lies Ahead podcast. See you on the next episode.